Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are doing a countdown of my top 10 new games of 2025 and counting down to game of the year. The criteria for this is these have to be new games released in 2025 and also before my cutoff date, which was the first week of December. So, a couple of games came later in December that missed that cutoff. But these were all ones I played through from 2025. So let's go ahead and jump in. To number 10, and that is going to be Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which did come in right at the deadline, released on December 1st, 2025, and this is a super fun beat 'em up with Marvel superheroes characters. So if you ever wondered about the old Capcom Marvel superheroes fighting games, what that would be like if it was a beat 'em up, Marvel Cosmic Invasion has you covered. It's very much a love letter to those games and a very solid beat 'em up with a very expansive roster of 16 Marvel superheroes to choose from. Some pretty deep cuts in there too, which is pretty cool to see, and a fun tag team mechanic that allows you to choose two heroes, so you don't have to just stick with one. You can pick, your favorite and then one other to tag in and out with as you go through the game. And that means if you're playing in co-op with up to 4 players, you can have half of the roster of the game playing at the same time. So number 10, Marvel Cosmic Invasion. Number 9, we have another beat 'em up, and this one won beat 'em up of the year, and that is Double Dragon Revive. And this is the return of the Double Dragon franchise, first game since Double Dragon Gaiden, and they're going, whereas that had like a little cartoony pixel art look to it, they decided to do a more modern style with Revive. And this was very divisive when it came out, and even as I was playing it, it was very divisive, just to me personally. I would go back and forth on what I thought about this game and how it looked and how they handled everything. But the more I played it, the more fun I had, and the more I appreciated the vision of what they were trying to do, even if they didn't really stick the landing, on a lot of it. I think that if we see another Double Dragon game in this style, I think they can take what they did and improve on it and really return the franchise to its glory. And I think that's what Revive was all about. So definitely a fun game and worth checking out on sale. Like I said, that was my beat 'em up of the year. I think it was the best one, with swinging for the fences and providing a fun experience with a lot of depth to the game and different modes that you can do, and solid online play as well. The only negative is, like, I don't like the story at all, but gameplay wise, very good. Number 8, we have Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. And this was one that a lot of people were hyped about when it came out. New Ninja Gaiden, that was cool. And it was 2D pixel art. And this was, going up, before Ninja Gaiden 4, the 3D one came out, which I didn't play. I don't really have any desire to play the 3D one. But Ragebound was that harkening back to the old NES versions. And when I think of Ninja Gaiden, I still think of the original arcade beat 'em up style. Uh, but there definitely is, I think, in the cultural zeitgeist, more that emphasis on the NES versions, which were incredibly popular. And Ragebound serves as a pretty cool prequel to that with a mechanic I wasn't sure about, but story wise, it was really good the way they set it up and implemented it in the game. So a very fun game. Uh, Probably some of the hardest boss fights that I played this year. Even knowing the patterns, it's still just being precise with your movements and everything was taking me some time to get down. So even though like the stages I could pretty much run through, but the boss fights were a different story altogether. But a solid game, beautiful pixel art, Ninja Gaiden Ragebound coming in at number 8. Number 7, we have Space Adventure Cobra: The Awakening. And this was probably the game I was looking forward to the most, my most anticipated game, because I love the Space Adventure Cobra anime and the comics. Big fan of that going back from when I was a kid, and seeing an actual proper game of Cobra versus what we had on the Sega CD with the Space Adventure that was just kind of like the text visual novel sort of thing was very cool. And they implemented some really cool mechanics with using the psycho gun and how that would work, especially with puzzles. It would get a little bit repetitive though, but really everything about it was super fun. It handled really well. I really enjoyed that game. It would get a decent challenge in parts, solid boss fights, figuring out the weak points and best strategies for it. So music was great. They used cutscenes directly from the anime that worked really well to move you between things. So it really followed a lot of the story of the Cobra anime, the series, not the movie, which is another big plus in that. But yeah, Space Adventure Cobra, I really liked that one. And that's why it is number 7 on the Game of the Year list. Number 6 is one that really surprised me, and that was Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves. Yes, a fighting game on there. I picked this up on sale, and I have not played fighting games in forever, and I haven't really taken them seriously at all since probably Mortal Kombat 2 in the arcades. uh, and well, and them maybe playing Marvel superheroes a little bit way back in the day, but I'm definitely not a fighting game pro, and I hardly ever touch them unless I'm just kind of messing around with my friends. But with the new Fatal Fury, first one in forever since Mark of the Wolves, what was that? 99? 98? Maybe a little later. I'd have to check it. I don't have that in my notes in front of me. But a long absence for this, and now SNK is showing that they are coming back in force. Remember us. Remember our characters. Remember how great these fighting games were, and City of the Wolves does that. I think it looks great. I had a lot more fun than I was expecting playing it, and it's rekindled my interest in fighting games. So I've been going back. I've been playing more of the old Fatal Fury games and King of Fighters. And that's something that I've been really excited to dive into a lot more. Thanks to Fatal Fury. And with like Ken and Chun-Li as DLC characters in it, it's made me interested in checking out Street Fighter 6, honestly. And I have not really played a Street Fighter game since Street Fighter 2. But Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves is the kind of game that got me interested in checking out these other franchises and diving into fighting games again and learning them. So that's really impressive and why it is on this list. Number 5 is Angry Video Game Nerd 8-Bit. And this is one that I was very nervous about. I was expecting it to be way too hard, but it is just the right hard for me. And they have different modes that scale really nicely for where you're at. But this is definitely the perfect old school NES hard platform game, and it's really like playing an Angry Video Game Nerd episode. It's got full motion video of James Rolfe as the nerd going through the story, cutscenes coming in, which is awesome because you feel like you're there. And each of the levels have very legally distinct parodies of games that he talked about on the show. But if you know, you know. And that was just really cool to see how they brought that all together. I think it is fantastic the way they did that. It does get, once you get past that initial playthrough where it's like, oh my God, this is so hard, and you go back, it gets a lot easier because you kind of get a better feel for it, but still a decent challenge in there. This got Story of the Year award, I thought, because it's a nerd episode, and it's a good one, and it really put you in it. And it has full motion video. How can you not love that? And they gave it an actual NES release on a real NES cartridge. So that's super cool. And it, published by Retroware. And this is not the only time you're going to see Retroware on this list with a game. And that's why they also won Publisher of the Year. Programmancer. I know I just butchered that pronouncement. Oh my God, I'm not talking right. Anyway, great developer, probably Developer of the Year. I know they have a couple other games in the pipeline for Retroware, and I am excited to check that out strictly because of this game. So great job on that. Angry Video Game Nerd 8-Bit, number 5. And number 4 is another Retroware game, and that is Neon Inferno. And this kind of came out of left field for me, and I was not. It wasn't on my radar, and I played it, and it's a run and gun, very much kind of with the feel of Contra and Metal Slug, but with this very cool Blade Runner, neon, cyberpunk dystopian vibe to it, with gangsters and Yakuza and corrupt cops and cyborgs. And it's a really gorgeous game. The pixel art is fantastic. The bullets look really cool. It handles really well what you need, like for the platforming and the shooting. And it's got a cool mechanic where you're actually shooting into the foreground at times. So you not only have to watch what's in front of you and behind you and making these jumps, but then there's stuff coming out of the background that you have to turn and start shooting at. So and that, you're kind of in place. So there's a lot of strategy involved to it, and it's a very challenging game, and but not so hard that it's gonna like put people off. You can work at it and get through it, but then it has like a lot of extra challenges in there to really get the full experience. Like it's meant to be played on like the arcade mode, which is like no continues. Just try to get through the whole thing in one go, and at a harder difficulty, and I think that's really cool. But I was really impressed with this. I had a lot of fun with Neon Inferno, and that's why it made it to number 4. That's why RetroWare gets Publisher of the Year, because they had 2 games on there. So, and Neon Inferno, I think I gave best artwork too, because I really love the look of this game. And I want to right now, before we get into the top 3, I want to take a time for a few honorable mentions, and these were ones that missed the cutoff, or I didn't find out about until just recently. So I wasn't able to really play it enough and put it on this list. But the first one is Terminator 2 2D No Fate, which is an awesome retro style pixel art game adaptation of Terminator 2 with some very cool changes potentially that they made to do it. But like, why couldn't we have had an adaptation of Terminator 2 like this back in the day? Like, this is what we wanted for a video game adaptation of a movie. It follows a movie, and a lot of times they just did something completely random. It had a different game, Back to the Future, looking at you, that had nothing to do with what was going on. Wayne's World, looking at you. But here they took Terminator 2. They do it. You play as John. You play as Sarah. You play as Arnold, and it's very cool. Wish you played as Arnold a little more, but you get into this point where there are scenes where you get to make choices, and those choices will impact the way the game plays out. Maybe you skip a stage or have an additional stage, or play as a different character through a stage, and it goes off the script from the movie. And I think that's really cool. And it was a really fun game, and just a great adaptation of T2. But came out a little too late to make the list. Next in the honorable mentions is a game called Ashura the Striker, which came out in 2025. And this is a game from Leftover, who I believe is a 2-man team from Japan, but they did a really cool arcade game here. And just, it's hard to believe that 2 people did this. And I wish if I found out about this earlier, because this is coming in very late, last minute, where I was already, had this list done, this definitely would have been on it. It's got some really cool cell shaded art, amazing backgrounds, like photorealistic stuff, reflections in the water. It's a beautiful game, and it's a massive love letter to games like Space Harrier and Night Striker. The influence is definitely there without it being a ripoff. Like, this is completely original, but like you can tell they loved it and wanted to pay tribute to those. And one of the stages is called Night Striker, and I think that's really cool. And they even put in like a pacifist bonus, very similar to Night Striker. The branching path choices you get to choose as you go through the game is very much inspired by the branching path in Night Striker, but there are a lot more stages, a lot more different paths to go through. It's going to take me a while to get through all of these stages, but and it's going to be a pleasure doing it because this is a super fun game. Great soundtrack, amazing graphics. It's not perfect in some of the combat where it gets a little difficult for me to see kind of what's coming at me, or like timing the punch, because that's a different thing. You're not just shooting, like you get a punch the bosses too as they get up in your face, and sometimes it makes it a little hard to avoid and to get the timing down. But it's a very cool game, and it's very fun, and it's everything I absolutely love about rail shooters. And they did a fantastic job. I highly, highly recommend checking out Ashura the Striker on Steam. It's a great game. And like, I'm playing this on Steam Deck. The footage you're seeing, it was recorded from me playing it on my Steam Deck. It says it's unsupported, but I don't know. I didn't have any problems with it. I can see it being a little graphically intense for the Steam Deck, but I didn't notice anything bad about it. I think it's just an awesome, awesome, awesome game that everybody should check out. It's gorgeous. And yeah, there's one stage that has the boss, the forest stage. Try to avoid that because I don't like that boss. Very hard. I almost ruined my entire run when I was recording footage for this, going to the forest stage. But I really cannot recommend this game enough. And it's sad that it's only getting an honorable mention, but it is as about an honorable a mention as I can give a game. So definitely go check that out. And number 3 is going to be Shinobi Art of Vengeance. And this was one I was skeptical about when it was announced. I thought the art looked cool, but I didn't know how it would play. I didn't want them to make it super convoluted or anything. And Lizard Cube did a great job with it. It's a beautiful game, incredible backgrounds. There are a lot of very cool nods to the past Shinobi franchises, and not just to the console Shinobi, like Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3 on the Genesis, which is what people think of now when they think of the Shinobi franchise, but also Shadow Dancer, and more importantly, Shinobi, the original arcade version. And that's what Shinobi is to me. As much as I love Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3, it's the original Shinobi, and Shadow Dancer is kind of how I, to this day, still expect a Shinobi game to play, with those single hit deaths and taking your time through it. And Art of Vengeance did a great job of kind of keeping that pace. And I mean, you have a boss from the original Shinobi game making a return appearance. You have a stage where you're rescuing kids, and they look just like the kids from the original Shinobi game when you free them. And those are just nice little touches that didn't go into like member berry territory. It wasn't just, there in an exploitative way. It was just, hey, we remember this. Here's a fun little Easter egg for you. And I thought that was just great. I was really excited when I saw that boss, and then when I saw the kids, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. And it's got a lot of depth to it. I think that like the combat's super fun. The boss fights are challenging, not as hard as Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, I don't think, but the platforming throughout the game is a lot better. It's a lot challenging, and there's a lot to explore where it kind of goes into that, God, I hate saying this, Metroidvania territory, but not too much. And that was what had me skeptical about the game, because I just want to go left to right. And I want to fight stuff. I want it to be linear, and I want to have fun combat and boss fights. And Shinobi gives you the option to go exploring for more things, and gives you that replay value and the ability to go back to stages and explore and get that kind of depth, while also providing a massive game to play through, and super fun, and just a beautiful game to look at. Great music, not as good as some of the previous entries, but still a very solid soundtrack. I was actually like surprised at how much I enjoyed the soundtrack while I was playing. But that is number 3. So now we're in that top 2, and the runner up is going to be Night Striker Gear. And Night Striker Gear was one, again, I would anytime there is a old game that I knew and loved from the arcades, like Night Striker, and here's a new version of it, and then we're gonna do some kind of change to the mechanics. Like there's this, the new gear system. I'm like, what the hell is this? Do I want this? And is this going to like ruin the experience of the game for me or not? And I had no idea what this was going to be like, how much it was going to change the game. And but I was still excited because it's a new Night Striker game and it looked great. And then when I played it and the gear system was there, it's just like, it's an extra power, transform your car into the mech, very much like in the first one, but it's set in the future. And it didn't take away from the gameplay. It didn't like force you to do it differently. It didn't turn Night Striker into something completely different. And I absolutely loved it. The music is fantastic. It's a beautiful game. It's super fun. It's short. It's an arcade game, and I love that about it. And it came from M2, and M2, I know they've done a lot of ports, especially in shooters. Like I just did a video on Esprade, and that was a cave bullet hell shooter from '98, and M2 Shot Triggers did the port of that and added like some cool extra features for tracking the score and all of that to it, and they did a great job on that. But they also did a great job with Night Striker Gear, and for an arcade game that is very simple and very straightforward and very short. Like you can play through this in 15 minutes. Yeah, and I love that. I, I absolutely love that. But that doesn't make it easy, and there's still a lot of things to explore. There's like all different modes that make it harder. There's different difficulties. There's trying to get the high scores. There's doing the different things. But then there's also a lot of story to it. And this is really cool because like in the first one, it was very straightforward. Okay, terrorists kidnap the scientists, and as you go through the endings, like you're kind of left wondering, like, is it just you doing this? And you kind of have to pick which is the best ending of that game. And with Night Striker Gear, they paid attention to that, and they took it so it's like no matter which route you go, like that's you, and you can just assume there's a team of Night Strikers, and everybody is doing each of the paths. So as you complete each ending in the game, you get a different part of the story that's all happening, and it all does tie back to the original Night Striker, which takes place I believe 10 years before Night Striker Gear. And it's such a simple thing and such a nice touch. And if you take the time and go through it, and there's a really cool world there, and you get to unlock that, and you can like read each of the endings and actually put it together in a cool little story. And I was excited for this. I was probably just as pumped for this as I was Space Adventure Cobra when I heard about it. I was shocked that they were making a new Night Striker, and that's why I was so worried that I didn't want them to change everything I loved about the first one, and they didn't. This is how you do a sequel. This is how you update a classic arcade game like that and keep it true to its DNA while adapting it for, modern systems, modern consoles, and in that home play. And I'm really happy with this, and I was not expecting it to rank as high as it ended up ranking, but I'm really glad it did. And yeah, it was just a pleasure to play. And speaking of a pleasure to play, that brings us to number 1, the winner of the golden token for Game of the Year, and that is Eartheon from Ancient. And this game blew me away. And it's one I have had a hard time putting down to do other things, but much like how Fatal Fury has made me want to go back and play older SNK fighting games, get more into fighting games in general in a way that I haven't really felt since like the original Mortal Kombat, the original Marvel Superheroes game. Eartheon has done that for shoot 'em ups for me, and where like I have been playing more shoot 'em ups like S-Braid. I've been playing Dodonpachi series, Darius, because of how much I enjoy playing Eartheon. And this is a beautiful game. It's going to get a actual physical release for the Sega Genesis, Mega Drive, depending on where in the world you're at. And I think that's super cool. It's coming in 2026, that physical release, and because they're working all the bugs out. And I don't know what to say about this. It's just a fun game, and I was really surprised at how much I liked it. And I'm not the best at shoot 'em ups, especially. I'm not great at a lot of games. There are a few games I am really good at. You don't see too many of them on this channel, but I assure you, they're out there. And one of the things, especially with shoot 'em ups, is like that difficulty curve. And Eartheon has like the perfect balance for that, where I do think there's something for everybody, and I've been steadily upping the difficulty on this and improving and getting through it. It's got a password system which lets you continue and start the game with different power-ups that you've earned throughout, so you can experiment on how you want to build out your ship. And I think that's really cool. And you get sort of a risk-reward benefit for that, and in a way that suits your play style. And I mean, I'm still figuring things out about this. Like stage 4, there's this. It starts off where you're being chased by this crazy alien guy, and I didn't realize that it was possible to get behind him and actually kill him. And I did that once, just playing it. I haven't been able to do it since. I was trying to do that for the footage for this, but I couldn't get him out, take him out fast enough, and he still goes over the edge. I don't know what happens to him. I thought maybe he still dies down there, but you can take him out beforehand, and I didn't realize that. And when you see him, you're not even thinking about that immediately. Like, just kind of like stay the hell away from this guy and watch out for, like, so you're not running into things and not letting him catch you. But there are different routes, and you can position yourself and take him out, and that's really cool. And of course, Yuzo Koshiro is just the master of scores. and this is a phenomenal soundtrack of his. Definitely up there with Streets of Rage, and Streets of Rage 2 is like my favorite video game soundtracks from him. It's so good, especially like Endless Horizon that kicks off stage 2, like my favorite song on there. But this is one that's like, yeah, I'm just listening to the soundtrack in the car. It's so good. And you know what he gets out of like the Mega Drive hardware to do these sounds is just amazing. And I can't wait to hear it like on the actual cartridge of this game. But yeah, Eartheon, game of the year, hands down. I cannot recommend this enough. If you like old 16-bit games, this is worth checking out. If you like great music in your video games, Eartheon has that down. Even if you're not a big fan of shoot 'em ups, this is really fun. And like I said, it's made me want to explore the genre a lot more than any interest I had previously. And that's because of this game. And that's one of the big reasons why it gets that game of the year spot. So congratulations to Ancient, to Yuzo Koshiro, to Eartheon. You are my game of the year for 2025. Winner of the Golden Token. And yeah, so that's my top 10 games of 2025. And I hope If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know what your top 10 has been in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you all for watching. And thank you for being here for this this past year. It's been a lot of fun making these stupid little videos for you guys, and something I plan to keep doing through 2026. And so don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and we'll keep playing old and new games and checking things out. So thank you again for watching. Congratulations to everybody that made this list. Honestly, like, just being nominated here is an honor. and again, Eartheon winning my game of the year. This has been a big year because like, just that I had more games to play, new games. I haven't been this excited since, you know, the 90s for this many video games. And so I think that's a good sign for the state of the industry, at least as far as, you know, solid games go, not the AAA crap. But there we have it. My top 10, yeah. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody.